Hello everybody, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator once again. Today doing a flight in the ATR 72-600 that was recently released by Asobo as an expert level airplane, and we are going to be doing a flight from Bora Bora to Papeete. About a 45-minute flight. Everybody is on board. We have bags on board. Need to close the doors and get on our way. And welcome aboard the ATR, a very, very cool airplane, twin turboprop. It's got some cool little nuances to it that you wouldn't see on other airplanes. A big thanks to Thrustmaster for sponsoring this video. We've got the Boeing TCA yoke, we've got the TPRs, and the throttle quadrant as well. New addition, I've got the Logitech radio panel since I've been flying on VATSIM, and we'll be flying on that today. Although I don't see any ATC on right now, we'll be doing callouts as we go on our way. Got 122.8 in the box, ready to go, and we are squawking, definitely don't want to be squawking 7,000. We're going to change this to 1,200. So all I got to do there is just hit this little guy, and then we can change you to a 1 and then you to a 2. 1,200 squawking in the box there. Back to nav 1. We're ready. So the airplane comes with a EFB on it. We need to close the cargo door, main door, the tail stand. Ground power, we're going to keep it on for now. Wheel chocks, we're going to have them remove those, and the service door can go to close as well. In the payload today, we've got in kilos, right there, gross weight of 22,821 kilos, and that's a center of gravity, and takeoff trim is 1.1 up. I've already got that set and ready to go. Performance-wise, on takeoff, V1 113, VR 113, V2 117. And then you have a maintenance option here to refill your oxygen supply. You will have to do that eventually. Fire protection, you got bottle, squib, and then the brake temperatures can be reset as well if you get too hot on those. The options here, you have everything you change into HPA, or you can change into inches. We're going to do Celsius and kilos. Low AP connected or disconnect sensitivity for the autopilot. Avionics mode is on EASA instead of FAA since we're flying over here in Tahiti today. And then we've got PFD throttle hint turned on. Everything's set up here. You go into throttle setup. It's very similar to like the fly-by-wire system where you can set detents. This is a giant pain in the butt to deal with. It was the biggest problem I dealt with. These are my values right now, using a single axis, not dual axis. Even though you see dual axis, I'm not using those, and there's a reason for that. It's just, this is the way I've been able to get it to actually work for me. So that's what we got going on here with the airplane. Check our oxygen. That's good to go. And before we push out, we need to make sure the nose wheel steering is disconnected, which it is now. You have a little panel here you can open up and close, and you can even open the document door as well. It's all modeled here in the ATR. Very cool. I'm using a cockpit texture set from flightsim.to. That allows me to have the gray textures that the ATR is known for, rather than the purplish colors that we saw that was released with the airplane. A few housekeeping things before we get underway. We're going to get the lights set up here to bright on both of these guys. On the overhead, I'm not going to use any of the flood lighting system here. We got the gust lock set. Emergency brake, or sorry, the parking brake is on right now. You see it has an emergency setting to it, and the flaps are all the way up right now. And looking at our flight today, we've got runway 11 plugged in here. We're going to be doing the HHN3 Alpha departure to the Hotel November VOR, then direct to Arama, then direct to Iduda, and then we have the IDUT3 Victor arrival into runway 4 for that. Really cool with this airplane, you have this little comm switch here, so this is where you can do your comms, but I'll be doing them with my actual radio stack I have now. You can change your nav radios right here as well. And then we have SURV, which is our transponder. So we can turn that to the on position. We're squawking 1,200 right there. And TCAS is set to auto. So that's all good to go right there. Everything else down here, you've got the systems pages you can open up, and you can see how everything works. And I'm going to show you something that's really cool with this airplane. That is doing a engine start in hotel mode. And we'll explain what that is here in a minute as I go through my systems pages and making sure everything's good to go there, which it looks good to me. Back to ND. You can put it on the perf page there if you want to as well. Really cool that we have all of that available to us. There's just a lot of information you can get at your fingertips. We got the ND on there. Weather radar is off, and we're ready for checklist time. All right, so pre-flight checklist. Cockpit preparations are complete. Gear lever is indeed down. Parking brake set. Battery is on. External power is available and set on. Nav lights are on. Warning systems fires are tested. Gust lock is engaged. You got to have that on. You can't turn the prop brake on without that being engaged. Prop brake is on, and we got the blue light right there. As you can see right there, it says prop brake, and I'll explain that in a minute. No smoking signs are on. Seatbelt signs are good. Emergency exit lights are armed, and windshield anti-ice is on. We've set our FMC and obtained clearance. Altimeter is set. We've got 29087, and that is cross-checked. We got the beacon lights coming on next, so let's get that beacon light to the on position. Let them know we're going to be ready to go here. Fuel pump 2 is going to come on now, and then we are going to be ready for engine 2 hotel mode and start and perform that, and then we'll get a pushback. So let me explain a little bit about this. So looking at the overhead panel, you can see right here we've got the right pump on right now for the fuel. And what we need to do is start engine 2 without the prop actually spinning. We're going to start engine 2 so we can have all of the airplane running on that power system. And then we can use it kind of like an APU basically. So we've got prop brake on. Everything's good to go there. We're going to go to the engine start selector to start AB, and we're going to hit start 2. We see we've got that rising on the right side. Look at about 13% right there. We're going to go ahead and move this guy into the FTR mode, and it is firing up. Keeping an eye on all of our gauges. ITT is rising. Make sure we don't have a hung start. Make sure we don't have a hot start. Everything is looking good right there. All right, cool. So you saw the engine is fired up without it actually spinning the prop. So that is perfectly fine. What we're going to do is go ahead and we're going to release that prop brake, and then it will come to life. Since I had a look around out there, it doesn't look like we need a push at all. We can just taxi out to the left, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So on the overhead panel, we go to the prop brake, and we put it into the off position and guard it. Okay, awesome. So we're good on that. We move this back to the off and start abort, and then we move it back into the start AB and start engine number 1. Watching the engine rise up, looking about for that 13% right there is good, and we're going to move this guy into the FTR position, and it is getting oil pressure, temperature's rising, ITT is going up, and we got a good engine start happening on 1. All right, 2 good engine starts there. We're going to move these guys into the auto position, and we're going to hear these engines absolutely roar and come to life. And looking at the overhead panel, we've got engine 2 hotel mode completed, so we can look at our hydraulic power. Everything's blue and green. Good to go. Oxygen is checked and on. We did that. Put this guy back to the ND display there, and yes, we can continue on. We've got takeoff data set. FCP is set. Fuel pump 1. With the FCP, we can see we got everything checked out there. Fuel pump 1 is the thing we forgot. We need to have that to the on position. There we go. Fuel quantities are checked. I did earlier 3360 on board there. Awesome. Then we have the landing elevation. We need to set to 50 actually. And to do the landing elevation, you come over here to this little guy, press it into manual, and we'll have it at 50 set. That looks good right there. Seatbelt signs are on, fuel used. We can hit the reset button on that. We're not going to worry about that stuff. And then probes and de-ice are going to go to the on position with no white lights as they are selected right there. External power can be removed now off the airplane. We're on the DC bus there. And it's kind of interesting how this airplane works with the hydraulic driven prop with the AC wild elect power. It's kind of strange compared to other airplanes, but everything is looking good here as it should be. I see no problems there. All right, let's do a flight control check. So put that gust lock away. I've got left, back, right, left, and right. Flight controls are checked. Let's set our flaps to the first notch, which is going to be flaps 15 for takeoff, which we see it coming down right there. And that is selected. So the airplane does have checklists built into them, as you see right there. You can come down here to this guy, and we can go down to normal procedures, select it, and you go into anything you want to from there. It's very it's very difficult to get to, honestly, so that's why I'm using my other checklist today. But you can use that, which is really cool. So we did not have a push today, so we're gonna make sure that the nose wheel steering is turned back on. That's good to go. And our clocks are off right now. Everything's good. Little standby compass pops down, really neat. Love that little attention to detail. It's a very unique airplane. You can even pick this little microphone up and put it back if you want to. Are ready to taxi, so the taxi light comes to the on position. We'll give a call. Bora Bora traffic, Air Tahiti 127 is going to be backtracking runway 11 for departure to the south, Bora Bora. So we give that radio call out there. We're good to go there. We can remove this guy, and the airplane is ready to a taxi. So add just a little bit of power. We're going to turn out to the left. And clear on the left. I saw there's nobody around currently, so we can back taxi on runway 11. Taxi checklist. We got taxi nav lights on, wing logo lights off, de-anti-ice is off, bleeds are good to go, AC wild electric power is no, white lights, engine instruments have been checked, pitot heat is on, start selector mode off. Pre-departure takeoff configurations checked and set, power management is indeed going to be at takeoff there. Speeds, we verified those earlier. FCP, nav data radios are checked and set. Fuel quantities, we've got our 33, can barely read it, small little print there. 50 on board right now, plenty of fuel that's needed. And then annunciator lights have been checked. There we go. So pre-departure is good to go. Let's get the lane lights and strobe lights on. We're on an active runway here. I'm sitting here talking and not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Wing light can come on as well. Actually, the wing light is something that you turn on during a hotel start, which alerts the ground crew that you will be starting that engine over there, even though the blade is not starting up. Bora Bora traffic, Air Tahiti 127 taking off runway 11, south departure on the Hotel November 3 Alpha, and up to flight level 170, Bora Bora. All right, cool. We gave our instructions out to everybody, and we are going to be ready for takeoff here. So before takeoff, we have everything pretty much good to go. The only thing we need to do is move these guys into the full forward position. Gust locks away. And we have checked everything up there, and we're good to go. Flight attendants, seats for departure, please. Cool. Let's do this thing. I think taxi's very, very nice at idle power. I absolutely love that. Line up here. I'm expecting wind from the right here, so we'll get ready for that. And we are lined up. Remember, 113 is going to be our V speed. So we're going to bring the power up a little bit here. Make sure it's stabilized. And release those brakes. And set our takeoff power. Takeoff power set. Airspeed's alive. – 70 knots. V1 and rotate. Nice and easy. Positive rate, gear up. Bora Bora traffic, Air Tahiti 127, departing runway 11, upwind, Bora Bora. All right. And now we just hand fly the airplane. She hand flies very nice. We can go and make sure that, well, we're on the LNAV right now, which it'll move to the left right now. There it goes. So we start our turn. And usually when you're on an intercept, you can get VNAV going as well, which is VNAV. It climbs in IAS mode. So indicated airspeed, we have set 170, but they're going to give us 120 for right now, which is fine. We still have that flap in. We're not at the flap speed just yet, so we're just taking it easy on the way out right now. We can come up here and we can do taxi light off and follow the flight directors. Ooh, man, bumpy on the way out here right now. But it's as simple as that. There we go. We'll put the power management into MCT. There it is right there. So we got managed climb thrust. And we're just kind of messing with our throttles here ever so slightly. Let's bring those flaps up. So we start to increase that airspeed. Yeah, we know. That Pac-Man sound you hear there, that is the trim. Very interesting how the trim works there. Still hand flying are doing a good job. Really enjoying this airplane so far. There's some little things that I'm not a big fan about that need addressing, which is the VNAV and the descent's done some weird, funky things to me. The climb out, it seems a little too slow. Even with the gross weight we're at and all that stuff, we should not be getting these really terrible performance, issues as far as what the airplane's capable of climbing out at speed-wise. Apart from that, I could say that the airplane just doesn't have enough drag. It needs more drag, especially when slowing down to land. So you really have to be ahead of the airplane's engines quite a bit, which I know in the real ATR from what I've seen from ATR pilots is that, the airplane will slow down quite a bit because it's got a lot of drag to it. It's also not fond of crosswind landings, like at all. But climb out's looking good right now out of Bora Bora. So you can see we're in VNAV IAS mode, and right now you come over here and you hit auto to from manual to auto, which I had 170 in there originally, but you see right there it's set to 153. It just seems a little low for what we should be getting personally. But 1,400 feet per minute, not too bad. It's just really slow on the climb. Although once we get all the way up to flight level 170, we should be pretty good. We're just now 30 miles from Hotel November, checking the systems as we go on our way out, and everything is looking good so far. Power management to climb mode, there we go. She gives a little bit more as we're starting to get to 10,000 feet. And I'm gonna pull my power back just a little bit, get out of the yellow. Don't wanna be in the yellow bands at all. There we go. That's much better. We're on autopilot now, so I could get my outside view shots and stuff like that. I usually like to fly it up to 10,000 feet, but hey, today it's a beautiful day. Want to get some outside view shots for sure. And we're almost at 10,000 feet, so we can turn our landing lights off. So we're just waiting for that ever so slightly, about 1,300 feet per minute. 170 is in there, and we're just now getting 172. You can see right there, it's now looking for 170 knots, which is much more on par from what I would expect. That is for certain. Got to be careful of this idle gate down here. If you pull that out, that's how it gets into the reverse thrust range there and all that stuff. And there's a lot of options in there for you to set your controls up however you want to. For me, like I said, I'm just going off of what works for me. That's probably different than what it is for you. So 10,000, landing lights come off, wing light can come off as well. And let's just go ahead and get that seatbelt sign off. We're in smooth air, not hitting any bumps anymore, so they can get up and move about the cabin all they would like on our way back to Papeete. Bora Bora traffic, air Tahiti 127 is 12.5 for 170, 18 miles from Hotel November, Bora Bora. Giving ourselves a position report. There's another airplane in the area, so he'll probably pop up on our TCAS if we get too close to him. I wasn't sure if he was headed down to Bora Bora or not. Oh, hey, regardless, they're going to know what we've got going on for ourselves. Yeah, airplane's doing a lot better in the climb now than it was before. So now 1,100 feet per minute, 170 knots is what she's climbing out at right now. I believe it files at 280 knots, and I don't think we're going to get that, but we'll see how it goes. Winds are very light. Even up here, winds aloft, we're looking like 8, 10 knots, like basically nothing. We had winds off our right side on takeoff, but that was basically it. And coming into Papeete, we're expecting 3-knot winds out of the south, so we'll see how that goes. So I can brief you on our way up here. We've got the whole flight plan there. As you can see, we're almost here to Hotel November. And then we are going to make that turn, one to go, out to Orama and then down to Aiduda. And then we make that left turn and head into Papeete. So the Aruba 3 Victor, Asaki 3 Victor, Aiduda 3 Victor arrivals are all right here on this one page. And basically they all say the same thing. We're coming into runway 4. So Aiduda there, and then there's that weird turn we have all the way down here. Max 220 knots. We're not even be worrying about that, honestly. And then max 220 between 6,000, 9,000, 3,000, 5,000, right around here in that spot on our way into the runway itself. The approach, it's going to be on the ILS Zulu localizer, and we're going to be at 3,000 feet on that guy. Looking at this, 1099, 041, and 3,000 is going to be what you have right there. MSA and all that stuff is showing 9,000 right there. We see 3,000, 5,000. ILS is going to be 255 on the minimum, so we'll set that in a minute. We just made our cruise altitude, so let's go ahead and set our engine power to cruise. There it goes right there. And we can adjust it as we need to. Just pull it back just a little bit right there. And we already got the seatbelt signs off. Everybody's happy. And now we're making our right-hand turn. Now going to Aiduda. Over Hotel November. We're going to set our minimums at 255 on the decision height right here. That's what I'm doing with this little knob. And it takes a while to get there, man. Even if you hold it down and click, it doesn't matter. It's just a very slow moving dial, so it takes patience to get to 255, which I will get there. 255 is set. Wonderful. Looking down here, we can go to our nav radios, and we need to put into the ILS 109.9, so 109.9. Now, I could use that on my actual radio stack, but it doesn't seem to work with this airplane. From what I have gathered doing this. Press 0 and then hit enter. Now that's there, hit enter, now it's active. We do the same thing for this one down here, 109. 9. Hit enter, enter again, and now we have those both active. You can set up the auto too. And then we can also make sure that we have the course set up. All right, so all we have to do is just click this guy over into ILS 1 or 2 right there. ILS 1 will work, and then we'll set our course right here to 041 is what we want. And that is set right there. Sweet. Move it back to there for now. And we are pretty much good on that. On the taxi instructions, you see the airport information here. Runway 4 coming in here. We're going to hit the reversers after we touch down. We're going to try to make Sierra, right turn on Sierra, and Charlie into the ramp. And we're going to be parking right over here on this side of the terminal. So we're getting about 214 indicated here, and that's actually not too bad. Ground speed 289, so you know what? Honestly, it worked out in our favor. You can see here's how the VNav is working. We have TOD right here after IDUTA, but we'll probably start our descent before then. I've noticed with the VNav, you don't want to be descending right on top of descent unless you want to kind of slam it down. So we're going to go nice and easy before the top of descent, but we'll talk about that a little bit closer to that point. But other than that, everything else is going well. Looking at our landing data here, we've got reverse thrust, runway conditions, dry, and required runway length is 2178. We're going to have 11,000 to play with, so that won't be a problem, like at all. So there's our approach. So 113, 127 BGA. So we're actually looking pretty darn good as far as weights and our speed goes. So check everything else here. We should have the island out in the distance. There it is right there, Papeete coming into view. And we can see the arrival starting to show up right here, about 25 miles from IDUTA. So I do want to show you the checklist system just really quick if you're interested in what it actually looks like. So we come down here, press down, and we're going to do descent and hit enter on that. You'll see there's the actual checklist. We see right here we got FWS, landing elevation, FMS, DH, and arrival briefing, all that stuff. And when you complete an item, you just press this little V right here, and boom, you'll see them turn white, and then you have completed all of those checks. So that's how the checklist system itself works. Just kind of hard to mess with that and do this all at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and check VATSPY one more time, make sure nobody is in the vicinity. FOD traffic, Air Tahiti 127, flight level 170, 4 miles from IDUTA, inbound for ILS 4, FOD. Okay, so we gave our call out and our position where we're at. There is an airplane in the area, so they probably heard that over the radio, which helps them know what I am going to do. So we need to actually start our descent down to 5,000 feet is what we're going to put in here to the FMA. So we're going to put that into 5,000 feet. And then we're just going to use vertical speed on the way down. Not going to utilize the VNav for now. Really no need for it. So 5,000 right there is good. Vertical speed mode. And we're going to start our nose down right now, ever so slightly. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull our power back here to idle for the descent. And then you set our power management to TO. Takeoff is what you want it to be at for landing. So there we go. We're nose down about 1,000 feet per minute there. We're going to go about 1,200 feet per minute, 1,500 right there. Looking good, and we'll just monitor it on the way down. Just kind of head of the TOD, which works for me. And that's the airport right off the coast right there of Papeete. Looking good. Continuing our descent down into Papeete, and we can see right now winds are now variable at 2 knots. Few clouds at 2,000 feet, and QNH is 1012. However, it is a beautiful day down there. It is currently 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Not bad at all. Wish I was there. And you can see the arrival starting to show up right here. So we see we'd be at 5,000 feet at or above right there, and then 3,000 at or above right there. So that's the reason why we started our descent a little early. If we would have started right at the top of the drop, it would have been a pretty steep descent to get down to 5,000 exactly. I mean, you can be above it, but I, also want to be able to make the runway. So that's the reason why we're ahead of the curve here. I went ahead and jumped this thing out of auto to manual selection to 180 on the speed. So we just keep a little bit of speed towards the runway and the airport itself. So I've got the power pulled back. I had to idle, but now I pushed it forward about 18. As you see right there, we can see the number is 17.9 is what we have right there to maintain 180 knots, and it's working out pretty good for us. All right, we are below 10,000 feet. We got our landing lights on. We have our wing light on and this fasten seatbelt signs as well. We're starting to pick up a little bit of turbulence on the way in from the mountains. And we can go ahead and zoom out a little bit. You see there's the approach. Zoom in a little bit further there. And there's our turn coming up right before we get to that island. Everything else is checked out pretty good. We won't change over to the ILS until we need to, but it's such a beautiful day. We're going to follow the ILS, obviously on the way in, but we'll take it visually once we get closer to the airport. And okay, whatever he said, I have no idea. That's the fun part about flying different parts of the country. You get people that aren't like English isn't their first language and things like that. And honestly, with World Flight that's going to be coming up in November of this year, we're looking really, really forward towards it. We have to fly in so many different airspaces with so many different nationalities. It's really, really cool. I love it. And I'm not afraid to get on the network and fly in different countries, that's for sure. That's why we are here in Tahiti today. So that's really cool. Also wanted to say that I will be at Flight Sim Expo in Houston this year. Be sure to, book yourselves a hotel in Houston. If you're in Houston, go check it out. The Flight Sim Expo, I'll have it linked in the description below. It's an awesome convention, expo in this case, but a ton of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. So if you're going to be there, let me know in the comments below. And we are in our turn now to the right-hand side, almost down to 5,000 feet where we need to be there. Once we cross that, we'll go down and continue to 3,000 feet. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a call in to everybody. FA traffic, Air Tahiti 127 is 3 miles from Delta 239er Romeo, inbound ILS runway 4 FA. There you go. So we've done that. There's the airport over there. Beautiful coastline right there, man. Looking awesome coming in here. Great views for certain. Love this new oceanic world update they did. It's really, really good stuff. So, yeah, we're going to be over this one here. We can go direct to Ovini, actually, after this. So I think I'm actually going to do that. So we're just going to go Ovini to this guy. And then, nope. Just kidding. Just kidding. It's not a Boeing. You can't do it like a Boeing, man. It doesn't like it. We'd have to like just pop it in ourselves. Actually, that's not a big deal to do. So Ovini, Ovini. Put that into that guy and hit execute. And what's it going to do? It's going to go direct, kind of, towards Ovini, but we're going to go ahead and just kind of give ourselves some Victor vectors at this point. So let's go ahead and go to heading select mode, a little bit more to the right. And line it up right on Ovini here. That's pretty good right there. That way I don't have to go way out, over the ocean for the most part. Bring this down to 3,000 feet. Oh, there we go. And continue our descent. Looking good there. Speed actually isn't too bad. Let's add a little bit more power into this thing here. And we're going to get set up for the ILS for approach. So now we're going direct to Ovini in a very garbage way, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We know what we're doing, and that's all that counts here. So that's good there. You can see the glide path starting to come down a little bit here. We're going to power back a little bit more. So we need to be at 3,000 feet right at Ovini so we can capture the ILS into the runway. And I'm going to get Sky Dolly ready to go. That's what I use for my landing replays. 1 to go. And I should be able to go down here to this thing and put it into DME mode. And there it is, 12.4. You can see. It's checked out right there. Love that part of the radio panel. Very cool. I'm not sure if it's going to show up on the thing there, but it might. All right, go a little bit more power here. There we go. Looking good. Right at 3,000 feet. We got that coming down there. Let's see if we can arm the approach. We have Loc and GS in blue. Looking good here. And we'll see if it'll pick it up. Let's just go a little bit more to the left here. Heading wise. Doesn't take a whole lot for this thing. A little bit more power. I'm going to keep about 150 knots here. I'll actually move this down to 150 knots so I don't have to keep chasing after it. As long as I know what I'm doing. There we go. About 150 knots right now. Looking good here. 10 miles to the runway. Got the runway in sight right there, actually. And we're going to go our first notch of flap. Flight attendant seats for landing, please. Cabin briefing. And it doesn't look like... Oh, there it goes. Captured Loc and GS. Just wanted to showcase this to you. Pull our power back to idle. Because I have yet to do an ILS approach in this thing yet. I've been doing visual approaches, and it's a lot of fun to do visual approaches, but I'm just showing you that the ILS does work indeed. And good right there. I'm gonna go gear down. Awesome. And we'll fly this thing down to 2,000, and we'll hand fly it the rest of the way. I'm gonna get my sky dolly going here, which it is. And we're slowing up a little bit more here. We'll go our final setting of flaps, which is full flap. 30 degrees for this bad boy. Bringing our props forward a little bit here.
Traffic, Fox Golf by Bora Bora taxi, Sato 22.
No idea what that said. No idea. We're on a 6 mile final. FA traffic, air C8127 on a 6 mile final, runway 4. FA. He's nearby. But I don't think that was English. If it was, I didn't hear it. I do apologize for that. Okay, cool. Landing gear's down. 3 green. Flaps 30 is good. Taxi light on there. Awesome. Everybody on the overhead panel looks good. Everybody knows we're good. My airplane. A little bit more power than this. But it's pretty stable, man. I'm actually pretty impressed with the speed. Or sorry, the speed. I'm looking at my speed and increasing it. No, I'm pretty impressed with the way it hand flies, to be honest with you. Come on, Pac-Man, bring us down. There we go. There we go. Keep a little bit more speed to the runway. We don't need to be like at 115 knots, so like we're almost to the runway, you know what I mean? There we go, looking good here. Beautiful approach into the airport. And if you want to know the center line of this ATR, it's this little square right here. Right there, that button, that is the perfect center line if you want to know what it's doing. Just a tad high, correcting a little bit more to the right. Yeah, you see the winds are variable right now. We're pretty much right down the runway at 4 knots.
Traffic and finally inside the lead line.
I wish I knew what that meant. I'm not really sure. Okay, let's get back down. FA traffic, air T8127, short final, runway 4, FA. All right, looking good. Bringing it on down. Pulling our power back a little bit more. And we are ready to land this bad boy. A little bit more power. It's a tad low. There we go, about right there.
500.
Looking good on the Papeete lights. I've never heard that voice before in my entire life. I don't even think that's an ATR thing. I don't know where they got that from. Interesting.
Approaching decision height.
Look how beautiful this approach is. Absolutely gorgeous. We're stable,
Decision
looking
height.
good here. Hit our
200.
minimums. 200. Got a runway made.
100.
Yeah, she just floats right in on it, man.
50. 40. 30.
A little left rudder, not very much. Looking
20.
for the captain's bars here for the landing. Bring it up.
10.
About right there. Reversers. Oh, we didn't make the first one we didn't want. That's something also with this airplane we've noticed, is that the nose wants to fly up on you. That is extremely unrealistic. I don't know why it's been doing that, but we'll make this one no problem. There we go. Using FS Realistic there as well. That's how we got those. Oh yeah, I don't think this takes you back to the ramp. It might take us into the ramp on the back side. Let's see if it does. FA traffic, RTD 127 is clear, runway 4 FA. Bring up our... Yep, there's a little bit of a bump there coming up the hill.
Fato 6 Fox Golf Mike Bravo Oscar from Fato 22 takeoff and they're heading to Bora.
He's taxiing to the ramp. He's seeing his call sign of his actual tail number. Yeah, this is the Max something simulations airport scenery. First time I've seen it actually. Oh, there he is right there. He's in a helicopter. That's cool. Very cool indeed. Well, that was a fun flight. Flaps are clean. Everything's good right there. Not too shabby. We'll bring these guys back into auto. Oh, the flaps go back all the way up. Accidentally clicked ya like a dummy. Like a dummy. Landing lights are off. Let's get everything else off. Strobes, wing light can come off as well. And we're gonna taxi into the ramp up here on the left. fun flight from Bora Bora down here to Papeete today. The ATR itself is $20 on the marketplace. An absolute steal of an airplane, if you ask me. If you ask me. And we'll go in right here, actually. This will be perfect. This would be great for me. All right, let's go ahead and pull the parking brake here to that position right there. And we're going to get the ground power hooked up like that. Looks good to us. We're going to make sure that we're on ground power on both of these guys, which we are. And now we can just kill both of these engines just like this. There they go. Gust lock can be in the on position there. And we can get the seatbelt signs to the off position. Click that, beacon light comes off as well, and we'll do some more checklist stuff here. But welcome to Papeete. All right, folks, that's gonna do it for this flight today from Bora Bora down to Papeete. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments below, and also let me know what you thought of the ATR. I've been absolutely loving it. The more I fly it, the more I learn something new about it. So that's been the great part about flying it for me. But that'll do it. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.